When Big Ron came down here, they still it's one of the favourite stories that they tell is how you brought this big man in to show the press people. You described him as Colossus.
Oh yeah, so never walk around him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was a fantastic looking man. He was. I remember the first time I saw him, he had a light grey suit on and his black hair, and I said, "It's Hollywood you should be going to." Yeah. He looked as if he would outclassed all those film stars,
John
Brilliant fella. Brilliant. That was the foundation, Yeats and St. John.
There was always a story about your signing, and I'd been put on the list at Dundee United for transfer because I asked for a £2 rise, actually, and they put me on the list. And of course, I played for the British Army team, and the Colonel, I don't know, our chairman, T.V. Williams here, had a little bit of, he was a friend of his, and he'd phoned him, and of course, Liverpool were looking for a centre-half, and our Colonel had said, well, we've got one playing for us now, a young lad from Dundee United, he's on the list. And the next minute, of course, I get a telegram, and I was stationed at Aldershot to go up to Edinburgh. There was a team wanting to sign me, didn't say which one. So off it goes, and I'll always remember it was the Station Hotel in Edinburgh, and it goes in the foyer, and I could see our manager, Dundee United manager, and his directors, and I looked over, and of course I didn't know, and it was Bill Shankly, the Liverpool directors. And I thought to myself, do I go over and speak to him, or do I go over and speak to my own manager? But knowing Shanks now, I didn't have to. He come marching out of the crowd, and he looking up at me, and he said, "What the hell?" He said, "Big lad." He says, "You must be about 7 foot tall." I said, "No, I'm 6'3". He says, "That's near enough 7 foot for me, son." So I thought, I was taken aback, and I thought, how do I... And I asked the worst question I ever said to Shanks, and I said, "Whereabouts Liverpool?" It was like a red rag to a bull, and he came right up to my face, and he went, "What do you mean, where's Liverpool?" And I said, "Well, whereabout?" I meant whereabout in the country. And he went, "We're in the 1st division in England." And I said to him, "I thought you were in the 2nd division." He says, "We are at the moment." He says, "But when we sign you," he says, "we'll be in the 1st division next year." Now, how could you fail to sign for anybody? He had so much faith in me, he hadn't seen me kick a ball yet.
Now, they were the greatest signings, and they were the beginning of Liverpool, as Mr. Sawyer was the man who found the money. And they laid the foundations, Yeats and St. John. Yeats could have played in the 2nd division by himself with no other defenders with him and won it. Yeah, fantastic man. 6 feet, 1.5, the quickest thing in 2 feet. Strong as an ox. Defended as well. All right, he wasn't Peter Thompson with his trickery. No. But as a defender, which he was, there was very few in the game in the same class.
Now, Ron Yeats was signed by Bill Shankly, and the funny story, Ronnie tells it himself. He said that when Shanks came up to sign him, he said, "But Ronnie, he said, you want to play," he said, "for a 1st division club." And Ronnie said, "But you're not in the 1st division." "Ah, but with you in the side, son," he said, "we'll be in the 1st division." So Ronnie said, well, you had to go along with him. So he signed him and brought him down to Liverpool and told everyone, "We've signed a Colossus. Come in and walk round him." And Big Ronnie would stand in the dressing room, and people would actually come in and look at him and say, "Oh, he is big, isn't he?" But Ronnie was a terrific player. He had marvellous left foot, mainly left-footed player, although his right came on a bit with all the practice I used to give him. But he had great left foot. Nobody could get past him. And don't forget this, Brian, I believe that Ronnie Yeats and Tommy Smith, when they were centre-backs, played against better players in the 60s than the modern player. I believe that. If you think of Jimmy Greaves and Big Smithy at Tottenham, Lord Best, Charlton at Manchester United, Franny Lee and Bell and Summerby and all these fellas at City, going right through, I think they were better players. So as far as Ronnie was concerned, he was playing, I think, against better centre-forwards in the 60s than the lads of today.
I would describe myself as a 120% player. I hated to get beat. I was possibly a good captain, maybe a little bit of a bully. I liked everybody else to be doing their work, and it went well that way.
Well, Ronnie Yeats was one of the cornerstones here at Liverpool. His coming, along with Ian St. John, around the same time,
was the very beginning of Liverpool's rise. And they did more for the rise than anybody else. Yeats at the back, St John at the front.
And I'm going to go for Ronnie Yeats, who was without doubt the best defender. Impossible to go past.
Going to training, and he said, Ron, he said, before we go to training, I want you to put on a new kit. It's in the dressing rooms. So, bloody hell, I really liked it. And he went, that's it. He says, we're going to play in all red. He says, you, when you were running over there, looked like a Colossus coming towards us. That's it. We're all in red. Bob, getting back for training.
I was the guinea pig. And of course, with the frame I've got, he wanted me to try it on. He said, I think we'll look a bigger team. We had a big team anyway, and I tried it on, and he went, Jesus Christ, he says, you look enormous, he said. He even had me going out the main door, nobody in the stadium at all. I had all the red kit on, the boots, and everything. He went, just walk out the door, he says, and I'll stand on the pitch. So he's standing on the pitch, and I had to walk out the door, and he went, that's it. He says, we've got it. He says, you look twice as big as you really are.
I somehow or other ended up on this stage with the dancing girls doing the twist. Little did I know that I was being filmed by Granada TV. We had a good time. Went home. It was on the night after we'd come back from playing Hornbed. I'm sitting in the settee with my wife, and she's saying, like a place, was it wrong? I said, oh, bloody awful place. Said, nothing to do, I said, we had a couple of drinks afterwards, and that's all, fair enough. And whenever I'd said this, the nightclub appeared on the television, and I thought to myself, a nightclub? I said, I can't believe this, I'm going to be on this. And there I was, and you probably got the footage of me doing the twist for these girls, and I couldn't believe it. I looked over, and the wife looked at me, and she went, I thought you said there was nothing to do.
The Leeds chairman. Handshake from the Liverpool chairman for Ron Yeats.